All right, now we're going to be talking about graphs and how the companies relate to their countries that they're most highly correlated with. So right here we have MNC Mondelez, and this graph shows the S&P 500 and Apollo Global Management all together. So my two MNCs related with the S&P. It looks like Mondelez and the S&P are more highly correlated than Apollo, which is going all over the place on its own. This graph compares Apollo to the S&P and their most highly correlated, which is Europe. And it looks like the two indexes follow each other, and Apollo again is off on its own. This graph is comparing Mondelez with the S&P and their most highly correlated, which is Switzerland. And it looks like the S&P and Mondelez follow each other more, and Switzerland is going crazy there on its own. This graph compares BlackBerry to its home country, which is Canada, and their top suppliers, which is the US and Mexico. And it looks like the S&P, all three indexes follow each other, and BlackBerry is going off on its own. This graph does the same thing. It compares ADR Nintendo to its home base Japan and US and Taiwan, which are its top correlations. And again, it does the same thing. It looks like the top three indexes follow each other, and Nintendo's doing its own thing over here. So my two ADRs look like they're hedged more than my MNCs. Now we're going to talk about how the four companies' stock price relates to the currency that they're most highly correlated with. So right here we have ADR stock price, and this graph over here is US dollars denominated in euros. And as the US dollar depreciates against the euro, you can see that Apollo stock price is declining too. So I'm going to say Apollo and the US are highly correlated, more so. This is Mondelez's stock price, and this is Japanese yen denominated in US dollars. These graphs look like they're doing the same thing. So as the Japanese yen depreciates and appreciates against the US dollar, looks like Mondelez is doing the same thing. And so these are highly correlated, Mondelez and the yen. This is BlackBerry's stock price, and this is the US dollar denominated in Canadian dollars. The US dollar actually depreciated against the Canadian dollar, and then it spiked up again during this last month. These two graphs are not correlated, so BlackBerry and the US are not very correlated. BlackBerry, again, is seeming to be hedged. This is Nintendo's stock price, and this is the Japanese yen denominated in the US dollar, the same as I had before. So it doesn't look like these two graphs go together. Nintendo looks like they are hedged against their own currency in Japan. And even if you flip this graph around, Nintendo looks like they're hedged in the US too. So again, my two ADRs look like they're more hedged than my MNCs compared to these graphs. So my conclusion is Nintendo did by far the best out of the other three stocks, and I believe this is because that they were announcing new products during the last 4 months, and they're really getting their product out there and stepping it up. So new productivity is really helping Nintendo out.